Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of your favorite TV shows, movies, and current events.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Dean, aka Watch the Geek. I'm here my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neeps, aka Watchbit Neeps, and I am here with the lovely Selma. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
So Selma has been on our episode a couple of times here and there, and you're a bit of a Love Island fan. So we were like, let's have you on and let's talk about the second half of Love Island.
I'm excited. To say that I like Love Island would be an understatement. I feel like I have a PhD in it.
That's funny. That's funny. How long have you been watching the show? Because this is my first season.
I have watched every single episode that is in the English medium. So I've seen all of UK. I'm in the middle of, or I've seen all of Australia. I've even seen South Africa. And of course, USA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot. That's
It
crazy.
is a lot. It actually is a lot because the UK, well, UK, Australia, and South Africa both have like, I want to say like 68 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, this one is 36, and I thought that was a lot.
Yeah. And this was by far not enough. So in the UK, especially, they have 8 weeks. So they actually have 2 full months. In America, we only have 6 weeks. And I was like, and I'm telling you, the last 2 weeks, like that, I really was hoping they'd be like, surprise, we had to add 2 more weeks.
That's crazy, because I'm over here like, let me out of this misery. Like, put me out of my misery. This 6 weeks was too much for me.
Are you serious? It was not enough. Like it was truly not enough at all. Like I needed more. Like I actually get upset that the US is shorter than UK.
Oh man, no. I was like, Hurricane Huda, like how much more can we take?
It was, yeah, this, I will say, well, let's get through the episodes because I just want to say after the whole conclusion and everything, this is by far in the history of Love Island, the worst season ever. I've never, it's not only within the villa, not only within Casa Amor, not only with the Islanders, but especially with like the public reception. It truly is like a trifecta of like the perfect storm for worst case scenario. I kid you not.
What do you mean by that? In terms of like how it was handled, or like how entertaining it was, or
I
like
think from
what?
the jump, the production lost control of the Islanders. Like I honestly believe that production, to be honest with you, the cast that they picked from the jump was problematic. So already they were playing with the wrong deck of cards. And I think that producers truly lost control as soon as day 2 when Yulissa had to go home. Like that really honestly messed everything up. Not only that, but also for me as a viewer, I think that Ace kind of he wasn't playing, he didn't come into Love Island for the reason that Love Island is there for. He just came in because he thought it was a game, you know?
Yeah.
And I really think that he put that seed with the boys, and then later on I think that Sierra really carried it to the next level. And it's just something that you see in terms of the dynamics of the Islanders, and I say that because they're not friends. They're not friends. They're not friends. And normally in every single, it doesn't matter what country, what season, what year it is, when there's a strong couple, the whole villa celebrates it. They don't they and
Mm,
it becomes like almost like an unspoken rule that you don't break up that couple. And I
okay.
know that's really hard to understand if this is your first like season watching it, or for yeah,
Right.
like the first time, or like the first time ever watching this show, like regardless of what country it's in, because what I have to say is like I always tell like people who are watching, I was like, no, you have to know the history. And like so it
Mhm.
started in the UK, and in the first 3 seasons they didn't have Casa Amor. Like it did not
Mm,
exist. And it was really, and I'm telling you, the crash outs, the fights that they had were like next level. So like when people were like freaking out about Huda's crash outs, or
right.
like it's like this is like normal. Like there are people who've had like the worst crash outs literally the second week before. And like I'm talking about like number 2 or 3 contender for best couple, like winning couple,
Mm,
and like have like brutal crash outs in front of the whole villa, and obviously in front of the whole world. And
right.
so even like when people were like talking about Huda, it's like for a lot of us that watched it before, we're like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy, but you guys are like, what's happening? And then like I don't even want to get into like the Stan wars that are happening right now, but
Mm,
um in terms of like the Islanders, because like Ace was kind of, I don't know, like people were saying, like it was Big Brother, but like the fact that like they were trying to actively break apart couples that were getting locked in,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that's not how it's supposed to be. Like you're supposed to, by the time, the whole point of Casa Amor is for the audience and of course the Islanders to be like, oh my god, the stakes are so high, these couples are so strong, who's going to, like, they can't, what do you call, cheat on each other. This season I was actively happy that Casa Amor was there, because it's like, let's get fresh blood in, let's get Huda a new man, let's get Amaya a new man, let's get, like, let's like change everything up, because it was like almost like it really was draining, like I'm not gonna lie, like going all the way up. And then the
Yeah.
fact that Jeremiah was taken out before Casa Amor, like it's just like, again, this is where I say like the producers lost control, because they should have put a stop to the game playing in the beginning when it was Ace, and also like, let's be real, like we already know, like Call Her Daddy episode just already dropped with Huda and with Amaya. Everyone's unfollowing each other. Like the fact like the girls are not friends with each other is so
Mm,
concerning. It's so concerning. Usually like you have like usually, I'm not even kidding, like the girls do get along. Even if you did talk to the man that they coupled up with on day one, they leave being best friends and bridesmaids in each other's weddings. Like that's what it's supposed to
yeah.
be.
That's not happening here.
That's not happening at all. um you have like everyone's like saying, accusing Shelly and Alandria of bullying Huda. My
Hmm.
perspective on it was that naturally, Alandria and Shelly were already best friends. Like, if anything, like they should have been the winning couple of Love Island. Like from the jump, they were fast and best friends. And I don't see
Right.
anything wrong with Olandria speaking up for Huda. I don't agree with her saying like tell the whole class, but
Yeah.
I do understand her having Shelly's back. My problem was when Iris jumped in, when Adrena jumped in, and it was like, okay, now it's a gang up. Like why are you guys jumping in? This is between Shelly, and Sierra. I'm sorry, and Sierra also said something, and especially with Sierra being like, well, then say that, when Chris was like, actually, I do think that I like Huda. Um,
Yeah.
it's like, who are you, girl? Like, and that's the thing, is like so many of the Islanders came in like self-producing themselves. Sierra, we
Yeah,
all
I
know.
do feel like that, especially when you talked about Ace, and like I want to start, like, we're a little bit all over the place right now, so I want to make sure that we go in order and stuff like that. But basically, I agree with what you're saying about Ace. Ace came in like a union leader, where he's trying to like rally the troops against the production and making sure that he can kind of like make sure things go in motion. And the fact he's like, no, you can't be locked in this quick. You gotta be open. And like he's like trying to break this up with Jeremiah and stuff.
Here's the thing. There are plenty of couples that got coupled up day one, OGs, that stayed through with each other, stayed faithful to each other through Casa Amor, and like ended Love Island not even winning, but maybe even like the third or second couple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that's normal. And honestly, quite frankly, here's my thing with the whole Ace, Jeremiah, Huda thing is that Ace put that seed of doubt in Jeremiah's head. And Jeremiah already, he like said it in post interviews after he got cut that his problem was that he told Huda, when I'm locked in, I take care of my girl. I get her flowers. I, you know, like I open the door. I get her gifts. I, you know, all this stuff. He even said his problem was he forgot to follow up and say, but I get to that point after 8 or 6 months. So Huda's hearing this, and the next morning he's not making breakfast for her. It's like, but wait, you just told me that when you're in, and we've been lovey-dovey, we're getting it on, we're intimate and all this stuff. So it's like, I understand like why that would set her off, you know, or trigger her, you know.
Well, he did make a breakfast for her. It just was what, a little soggy, a little.
No, it was not made
made,
with
right?
love. And to be honest with you, like from an outside perspective, it's like, girl, this boy doesn't like you, you know, like that. It's like, it's one of those things, like, as you know, like when you're watching it from the outside and you're dealing with girls who are younger and they haven't had the life experience, it's like hindsight 2020, babes, he doesn't like you. Like, this is disrespectful. You asked him to make you breakfast and he made you what do you call half cooked pancakes. That's not love. That's not even like, you know, that's just disrespectful.
I mean, but he was loyal to her, whereas other people were being a little bit more shitty. So it's like, what do you appreciate more? Him being like loyal and locked in from you from the very beginning. Like even in the first thing, he was like refusing to kiss someone else. He was like, "Oh, I'll do it on the cheek."
Yeah.
Whereas other people were just like, "Yeah, they're doing whatever when it's a challenge, they'll do whatever, right?"
Yeah.
So it depends on like what your love language is and stuff like that. Like maybe making food and stuff like that. Acts of service isn't for him, right? So it kind of depends like how he see that, because she started saying all that stuff as soon as Ace started doing all this stuff for Shelly.
No, and that too, it's like, but I think what I hear, and here's the thing, it's like a culmination of, again, you're dealing with like people who don't have full life experiences, and she's like, okay, I know this now because
she's a mom. She's a mommy. She's a mamacita.
But and that's the thing is like, okay, so and that's the thing. Now that I listened to the Call Her Daddy episode with her, she talks about her home life and stuff. And she was very young. She was a teenager when she got pregnant. Like, I also have like one of my best friends and I have like a theory that your mom is, in her mind, she is forever the age that she was when she first got pregnant. Like, so like my mom was 22. So it's like she's forever 22 in her head, you know? And when you think about it, at like whatever age we are now, 22 is still a child. So Huda was like 19, right? And it's like she's still a teenager. And I'm not saying it's right. Like, I'm not excusing her behavior. But it's like that's her maturity level, you know? So
that's a solid theory.
She doesn't know how to look at what's happening with Shelly and Ace and be like, that's them, this is us, you know? Like, that's their lane. I'm in my lane with Jeremiah. But when you're already insecure, when you already have major triggers coming into the villa, it doesn't mean anything, you know? People just see your crash out and they make judgments off of this. And that's the thing is like, I feel like there was too much of like they weren't friends. And that's the thing. It's like, everyone's like, this isn't Friendship Island, but it is Love Island, and friendship is love, you know? You can't sit here and like, my favorite part of watching Love Island throughout all the seasons and series I've watched is that my favorite part is seeing the friendships, is seeing who are the people, the girls that become best friends. Like season 2, I loved the friendship between Selly and Justine. In last season, of course, it was like PPG, you know, like seeing them all together, and not even just PPG. There was Kayla and Liv. Like if, and here's the thing, like they wanted to replicate like what was last season, the winning power couples and friendships that were last season, but you can't
Mhm.
duplicate it. And it felt so forced that they were trying to
Mm.
have like Sierra, Shelly, and Olandria be PPG. Because the truth
Yeah.
is, when you had that little clique of Serena, Janae, and Leah last season, even though they were the three of them, they weren't excluding other people. They weren't like, yeah, did you see what Liv was doing? Did you see how Kayla was acting? They were still sisters with the other girls, you know? That's not
Mm.
happening.
Okay.
There's lines.
Well, I haven't seen the previous season, so I'm still just like understanding this. Though, in previous season, do they have celebrities come in like Megan Thee Stallion, or is that special for this season?
So not so much. I know in the UK they definitely do. The UK, they must have money like $1 billion, because they use actual like, so what do you call, artist songs. Like the US used to have like covers, and like this season last season I could see their budget went up because they actually had actual artist songs. Like before they just do covers. But
I don't mind some of the covers though.
no,
Some of the covers are bangers.
yeah, some of the covers are like, whoa, that was okay. But they do have celebrities in the UK version, and I want to say in Australia, but it's like more local, like to Australian. In the UK though, they have like international, like for example, like real quick, like I love. To me, this was by far the most cinematic way to introduce Casa Amor, but they had Neo come and perform for the Islanders, right? For the Villa. And they're performing, and then at the end of the performance, Neo's like, ladies, I would love to have a selfie of you in front of the Villa. And so he's like, and so of course the girl's like, okay, oh my God. And they go straight out there, right? And he was like, he takes a selfie with them, of course. And mind you, to the audience, this was a little sus, because whenever they do have a celebrity, like usually with the UK especially, they'll have like an artist or a DJ come and perform. But the artist or the DJ will be like across the pool, so they won't interact with the Islanders. And that's so that the Islanders can't ask them like, oh, what's the public saying, or like this and that. Like, so they can't ask questions, right? So when Neo was
this time they did.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. This was. Yeah. This. I'm telling. This is what I'm saying. This season was all rules were we were in no man's land as viewers. But Neo goes, I'm going to take a selfie with the girls. So he takes a selfie with the girls, and they're all taking. And then he's like, I have one more surprise for you. And these vans pull up, and it says Casa Amor. So the girls immediately, they have to go in. You can't say bye. You can't grab anything, right? So they get in, and they're going to Casa Amor. And the boys are sitting in the villa, and they're like thinking the girls are like. And after like 20 minutes, they're like, where are the girls? Where are the girls? They're like, where are the girls? They run out to the front of the villa. The girls are gone. And then one of the boys like, do you think? They're like, no, it can't be. Like, they literally don't even say it. They're like, it can't be Casa. It can't be Casa. They run out to the pool, and in the distance, all of a sudden, in the pitch blackness of Majorca land, the villa lights up. And it's like Casa Amor's here. And it was like pure cinema. Like the boys started like, it was like, what an entrance. But that's what Casa Amor is supposed to be. But that's like the stakes of like, I don't know, like this season was so off. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So speaking of Casa Amor, one of the things that it's really interesting about that, they get new people. It challenges the dynamics of the relationships. What were some of the most shocking changes after Casa Amor for you? Because me, the Olandria Taylor thing was, wow. I did not see that coming.
No,
I thought,
okay, for sure. But the first and foremost thing that was the most shocking thing was when Ariana came in and said, girls, boys, you guys are now officially single. And you have to couple up. That's never been happened before.
Oh, that never happened before. I thought that was normal.
It's never happened before. What happens is, so I always say this, every season it's different, but I always say whatever gender is taken from the villa and put into Casa Amor, they have the advantage. Because, and I know this because I listened, this is how obsessed I am. I listen to the UK podcast After Sun podcast after each episode, right? And so the 4 seasons was it was hosted by Kem Setney, who won season 3 of Love Island, and he was saying when you have Casa Amor, when you leave the villa to go to Casa Amor, you have an advantage because when new people come in, it's a new environment, so you're like it's like you're on a holiday within the holiday. But if you're left behind at Casa Amor, your person's pillow is still next to you. Their stuff is
the villa, you mean?
Yeah, like their stuff is still in the, because like what happens is whoever gets left behind has to pack the bag of the person they were with. So what will happen is, like, for example, if it's like the boys that go to Casa Amor, the girls will like put their underwear in their man's suitcase, so it's like, don't forget, you know, who you left behind, you know. So this season it was supposed to be like, oh, the girls are going to Casa Amor, they're going to have the advantage. But this is when I knew that the producers were mad at the Islanders, was when Ariana came in and said, ladies, you are officially single, you have to couple up with one of the Casa boys, and vice versa with the boys. And so this has never been happened, so it changes all the dynamics, because like I said, by the time Casa Amor comes, it's supposed to be a surprise. And it's supposed to be a surprise because there should have been at least 3 solid couples. And I mean couples who, like, if they ended the game right then, we could see them being married. Like, that's how strong of a couple they are. So, like, when Casa Amor comes and you don't get to say goodbye to your partner, the stakes are higher, because it's like, oh, I just wanted to tell them that, like, because there's, like, you know, couples who were like wishy-washy, you know, but then the person realized, unfortunately, like, I like that person, but they're now in Casa Amor. So they might have been like, oh, the girl I was with, like, she really didn't know me. And then the person they're talking to in Casa Amor is like, you know, I was really liking what I saw, and I really, really want to get to know you. Like, you know, and it's like, the stakes are higher in that sense. And this time when Ariana came in, it was just like, it's almost like a reset to the game. But
which I didn't mind, because it did feel like some of the people on there were not giving the guys a chance. Like, I felt like Olandria was really into Taylor to the point where she was not really super giving somebody a chance. And then what happened was it backfired on her, and she got not picked and she got dumped. And same thing, like Nick, I feel like was more to Sierra, and he probably held back a little bit, and the girls could probably tell, and that got him kicked out, which I thought was really interesting. And then basically they pulled a switcheroo on us, and let's keep them. Has that ever happened before?
That has, okay. So when the whole Nicolandria thing happened, I'm crying because Landria's leaving, you know. And you know, as an audience member, you're thinking like, oh my god, like, this was too soon, like, their friendship should have lasted, you know. And then when they pull them together and we're like, first of all, as soon as you leave the villa, you don't see any car coming to pick up the person, right? So when the car pulled up and Olandria opened the door, it was like, and I told all my friends, I was like, we're in no man's land. This has never happened. This hasn't happened in the UK. It hasn't happened in Australia. It has never happened in the US. Like, I don't know what's crazy happening, right? And what I was hoping and thinking was going to happen is they called it Hotel Amor, and this was only in Australia. And what they did was, instead of having Casa Amor, they would take the couples and they would put them in a hotel for 3 days. It was just them in this like luxurious hotel, and they got to have like Casa Amor, but it was like private. And I was hoping that while everybody was in Casa Amor, that Nicolandria would have their little like own private Casa Amor, Hotel Amor thing. And where I think the mess up happened is when they brought them back and put them in the villa.
Really? Because I like that. I did the dynamic when Olandria and Nick came back, and they're like trying to be flirty, but they're like, you know what, we're just friends, because obviously they care more about the other people. And then when you find out that like they may not feel the same about them, the way Clark came in and changed Taylor's mind, I thought that was pretty devastating TV. I thought I was pretty shook about that.
I thought it was devastating, but I feel like because they put him back in Casa with the boys, it fucked Olandria, because Taylor's still there, so she couldn't truly explore Nick, you know? And
Right.
of course, like I'm sure the same thing would have happened if they took Nicolandria and put them in Casa Amor, you know?
Right.
And like I'm sure like he would be a little more hesitant with Sierra. But here's my thing. From the first game kiss that they had where he kissed her when she was blindfolded to the kiss
Hmm.
that they had in Soul Ties, there's no way you couldn't tell me that Nick when they were saying like, oh, let's just be friends, I was like, you guys are lying to each other. You are lying to each other. The way Nick kissed her, that's not a, oh, I'm just thinking about it. Like, you know, that was like a true kiss.
What I am on the other side. I don't feel the chemistry at all. I think they're just friends. I believe like the biggest hiccup of this season is that everyone who made it to like half of the people that made it to the final four are not even don't even like each other like that. Like Huda and Chris broke up.
Well, and
And
here's
Nick
the
and
thing.
Landria are just friends. It's like Friend Island, and that's what people are saying. Like I think people are divided. Some people think they don't have any chemistry at all, and some people think they do. I'm on the side where I don't think. I think they're just friends. They are in no way like into each other.
I think that Nicolandria now. Here's the thing. I think that they needed 4 times for the producers to do some sort of intervention to get them together. First, it was like the blindfold game. Then it was pulling them
Mhm.
from Casa Amor, or yeah, from Casa Amor time. I mean, not 4 times. The third time was pulling Sierra. You know, and
Yeah.
my thing is, I think that I think that in particular, Olandria, once she heard from her mom that everyone was rooting for this, there was a switch in
Yeah.
her. I feel like she was
Okay. Maybe.
reluctant, and you know, not for nothing. Like Olandria said it, like she's 27. She has been single for 5 years before that. You know, her last boyfriend was like pretty like it hurt her, and she was 22 at the time. And
Yeah.
I think that she was kind of not stuck on Taylor, but like just she was used to him and she was fighting for something that she thought she needed. And I think that she was
Mhm.
just scared to open her heart. And, you know, and I know this now because I've read the interviews, because she says that, you know, like she did like boys like Nick growing up, but they didn't like her back, if you understand what I'm saying. She's from
Yeah.
Alabama. So I think that a part of her probably would have explored Nick or pursued him earlier on if she hadn't been so hesitant about it. And she probably just thought that, like, or probably, you know, believed that, like, Taylor was safe because that's who she started out with, you know? And
But
I
do you
feel like
think Nick
now,
really
see,
does like her in that way? Because even at the very end, when they're saying their vows, he put in and throws in the fact that, oh, they don't know how he'll end up. We may just be friends. Like, why would you put that in your vows at the very end? I
because
thought
I
that was
think
very
he's
sus.
also like, to be devil's advocate on this, is just that they really did couple up within the last week of seriously couple
Yeah.
up within the last week. Like, yeah, they had Casa Amor and all that, and like all that stuff, but like to really like hear it from their parents, like even Nick's mom being like rooting for him from the beginning to be with
Yeah.
Olandria, like that really did change their perspective. And I feel like for him, like they know it, like they're not supposed to be ending, like, yes, somebody's supposed to end Love Island in a couple, but they know it's like we're not getting married the day after, you know? So I
Right.
don't
Right.
feel like him saying like, oh, what if we end up friends? Like, I definitely feel like seeing like their post villa exit interviews and stuff with everybody, like I feel like they're very much more into each other now, you know? And there
Really?
and there's like a level of like familiarness that's with them now that we didn't see in the villa, because like they still had some of their
Yeah.
walls up, you know?
I hope that's true because I do want that for them. The only thing about me is that like I've never seen this show before. So like when you see like Charlie leave, and then Hannah goes right for what you call it, Pepe, and then Hannah leaves and Pepe
normal.
goes for that. It's so jarring to me for people to just switch up like
But
that.
it's
Like Sierra
normal.
and Nick, I thought were gonna go to the end. I thought they were actually in love. I thought they were gonna be like having kids, and then she's gone, and the next day he's like talking about like Olandria, and I'm just like, that's not right. And then I guess it's normal for you guys, but for me, seeing it for the first time, that was very jarring, and I didn't buy that.
See, and that's the thing is like everyone's been saying like they're fake, and all this stuff, but it's like that's like you're supposed to like if you get left behind, regardless of how strong your couple was, you are supposed unless you self evict yourself, you are supposed to open your heart and talk to
Mm,
people all over again. And like also like going back to like even Huda and Chris, season
yeah,
7 of UK, there was Jake and Liberty, like they were meant to win that season. Like that's how strong of a couple, like from the beginning. But when they had that was I think that was the first time they had movie night. And I'll bring that up
yeah.
again.
They didn't do movie night this year,
They
right?
and I did and I'm gonna tell you why they didn't do movie night, because the producers were punishing us, the audience.
Mm,
Because there's 2 games that are game changers, which is the Twitter game and movie night. Because movie night is when they see how they really talk about each other, and Twitter is
yeah.
when they know exactly how the public knows what says what they're thinking, and
Ooh.
or how, what the public thinks of them. And that was the first movie night in season 7, and Jake says, oh yeah, I like Liberty, but she's not a supermodel, like she's not really my type, but like I like her for who she like for what she is, or for the time being, right? Mind you, they were such a strong couple, and when
Oh
Liberty
wow.
saw that, it messed her up. And they still stayed as a couple together, they still were together, and it wasn't until they were on their final date that they were
Yeah.
talking about it, and Liberty was like, you know what, I'm sorry, but like I deserve to be with someone that thinks I am a supermodel, even if I don't look like a supermodel. That's what she said. She's like, even if I'm not a supermodel, I should be with someone that thinks I look like one. And she broke up with him on the final date. So when everyone was
Mm,
getting mad at like Huda and Chris breaking up, I'm like, this is normal. Like
yeah.
it's normal to see that, And I actually was like pleasantly surprised, and I was happy Huda was like, let's just be friends, and like she chose herself.
Yeah, but she didn't need to be carried off of a man she just broke up with. That was a bit much. Are you gonna carry me?
No, I think honestly, real talk, like that was Chris publicly humiliating her. They did a breakdown on TikTok, but like at first he's barefoot, and then if you see like the second shot of him carrying her to the thing, he's wearing
Yeah.
water boots, which means that the producers were trying to protect him. And then he
Mm,
goes and he leaves, and he comes back to her with water boots on to pick her up. Obviously the
yeah.
intention was to pick her up, but because she had broke it off, he was like, no, I'm not going to pick you up. So I feel like he is a lot more dangerous of a man. I think there's a lot of
Really? Why would the producers have a guy go back and pick her up after she dumped him though? That's kind of like
because like
humiliating
it
for
was a
him.
gentleman it's a gentlemanly thing to do, and for the audience it'd be like, oh wow, he still picked her up after they broke up, like he's still a good guy. But
But
for
how did she get on there in the first place? Did he pick her up and take her there?
yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't see that then.
yeah, he picked her up and took her there. Like that was like the montage going into it. He
Oh, I
picked
guess I missed that.
he picked her up and put her there, but then after she said that, he was like, no, you can take yourself. Like that's an asshole thing to do, regardless if you're
Mm.
on camera or not. Like you're taller, they're in the middle of a lake, like don't be a bitch about it.
Well, so speaking of some of these pieces, I knew you mentioned some of the Twitter stuff that's happening. I know one thing that people were talking about was Sierra getting pulled off the show, being such a strong person. Did you think they were going to pull her, or do you think they were going to let her like stay because she was so far in it?
I knew they were gonna pull her. I knew they were gonna pull her, and I knew that they were gonna pull her like this. Um, it wasn't a surprise because I actually called it with Yulissa. Like all my coworkers and stuff were like, "What do you think they're gonna do with Yulissa?" I was like, "I promise you, what they'll do with Yulissa is there'll be a scene where everyone's getting ready, so you can't even pay attention to what's happening, and he'll say real quick, Yulissa has left the villa for personal reasons." That's exactly what happened, and it was actually morning shots when everyone was waking up. I thought it'd be like when they're brushing their teeth. With Sierra, I just feel like there was so much online conversation about her saying that word, and so many posts being put out about how, you know, you need to take her off. And it's true, like racism is racism, you know, like regardless if people knew or not that word was a slur, it's still a slur, you know. And in terms of Sierra, like they clearly had like text, like screenshots of her text messaging being like, hey, you shouldn't use this. So she was already like made clear, like, hey, this is a word you shouldn't use, you know. I just, of course, I think it was absolutely scandalous that they did it the last week of Love Island.
That is crazy. Another thing I've seen a lot of people talk about is Huda, who is Palestinian, was kind of paired up with Elon, who people were diving in and digging in and were like, hey, I think he's a Zionist, and you know, he's got trips to Israel, he's Jewish, he's got pictures with people in uniform who people think might be IDF. That's kind of crazy for the producers to do.
I think it was kind of crazy also, just like it also in terms of like having Austin on there, you know, and Yulissa as well.
Wait, what about Austin? What's the story about Austin?
He's a really hardcore Trump supporter, and he's like reposted things about like the Haitian dog eating thing and about like getting illegals out and stuff like that. So it's like one thing to be like, oh, he voted for Trump, but like he like was actively like in that propaganda, you know, like.
And he was paired off with Amaya, who's Dominican.
Amaya, with Shelly, and you know, like,
oh, he was with Shelly too. You're right. Yeah.
And the thing is, and that's the thing is, like when they were together, everyone was like, why is Shelly with him? You know, and like like people were saying like it's dangerous, and I think like one part of me is like, okay, I get it, because like. One rule that they're not allowed to talk about religion, and they're not allowed to talk about politics. If they had, they don't show it on camera. They cut it from anything. But like, there's plenty of times that people from the UK have also said like, yeah, you know, like I used to pray every night. They don't show that. If they do talk about politics, they cut it. You know, they're not allowed to, because season 5 or season 3, there was also like a boy who was Carrington, who's like Black Lives Matters, you know, immigrant lives matter, all that, ACAB, all that, and he was paired up with I think her name was Kristen, and she's like a hardcore MAGA, you know. And that's the thing, is like they didn't know. So I do think on one part it's like, okay, I get the producers are picking from casting whoever comes in that they think is beautiful and has a great personality,
right?
But I also think it's like, it's just like, it's kind of like you drop these new fishes in the fishbowl, and it's like, oh, I didn't think they were going to interact, you know.
But I have found it hard to believe they didn't.
An excuse to it, but like, it's just like, yikes.
It's hard to believe that they didn't do a social media background, because, like, as you know, I was on a reality show, and they did a full social media background check on me, where they asked me to unprivate everything. They asked for, like, you know, just to see, like, not only the stuff that like I post, but also stuff that you like. You know how when you like something, it's hidden to anyone but you. You have to make all your likes public for them to review you. And like, I'm surprised the show didn't do it. I was on a tiny little show on Hulu, and they made me do that. I'm surprised this show, which is like one of the #1 shows in the country right now, didn't bother to do that. That's
well, that's like, that is the thing that everybody who is a Love Island fan is asking. That is like, where is your forensics team? Like, if you ask me, I will find this stuff in 2 minutes, you know? Like,
Yeah, you put on the Priyanka Chopra hat with the
yeah,
meme
like, yeah,
and
literally,
just go in.
FBI, literally. And, you know, it's like
And
also the fact that when they found out that, like, Ace and Shelly followed each other on Instagram, and Ace also
yeah,
liked, like, they were liking and commenting on each other's
yo,
posts
were they
and
scheming?
well, that's the rumor, and I feel like that is also like why I think that's also a part of why they got booted first is that people didn't
Yeah,
forget that. And it was
yeah,
also kind of like spoken like, okay, if Shelly doesn't come back from Casa Amor with Chris, then this has to be a setup, you know? Like
yeah.
Chris was nice, he was tall, he was played basketball, all this stuff. And, you know, like so it's kind of like, oh wait, that's a setup. But then also I wanted Shelly to win in some sort of capacity, but it was how Ace spoke to Amaya that really set a lot of women off, you know? And
That was really cringe to see and very off-putting. And the other thing is the way he talked when the letters came out, like that was very aggressive. And the way he's like, "I'm 5'10," which like, bro, you're not 5'10. There's no way you're 5'10. And talking about like you're 6'3" and I'm doing this and you're doing that, and the whole thing was very aggressive. And I think he does have like a Napoleon complex a little bit, where he's just takes in charge and like he tries to gather people around him and stuff like that to make himself feel better. Um, I don't know. I feel that with Ace, and I kind of agree with what you're saying there.
yeah, like I I there's such the reason why Amaya strikes a chord with so many women and why we're so ride or die for her is because we all recognize our like at least older girls, we recognize ourselves in Amaya, and we remember who we were before we were told to turn our light down, and now it's like no no no, don't you fucking tell her to turn her light down. Like we want to protect her light. And look, she shined and she was who she was
She
unapologetically,
was.
and she won. And that's the thing is like she didn't come in scheming. She didn't come in trying to play a
Nope.
game or PR trained. She wanted to come in, have fun, have the time of her summer, and be herself, have her girlfriends. And like, look at it. She's the only one that gets along with all the girls. There's a
Yeah, she
reason
was
for that.
happy. She was happy to just have the opportunity to
Yeah.
to be on the
Opportunity.
show.
And here's the thing, like you can knock her on missaying the words, but you cannot knock the fact that this girl is intelligent as fuck. Her I'm standing on 10 toes, and last time I checked, I have all 10 toes. I'm like, girl, or like even like on the Alex on Call Her Daddy, she was like, girl, I took a laxative because I went through this shit. And I was like, oh my god. She was like, it was explosive diarrhea. And I'm like, this
He's
girl,
so funny.
like she is like also like the epitome of like New York, you know, strong,
Yeah,
smart, sassy, funny,
they were
and a
mean to her for
lyricist.
no reason.
Yeah,
For no
there and
reason.
that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like, and you see, like first it was Ace being like, "Don't call me babe. Don't do this. I don't like that. Don't touch me." To all that, and
Yeah,
Austin like
yeah,
you
and
know,
then
again,
Zach.
Austin being a Trumpy when she said like, oh, you know, I'm the daughter of immigrants. Like, homeboy changed, okay? He changed, okay? She's like,
Yeah,
I'm the first one in my family to go to college. I'm the first one, you know, like my parents are immigrants. Like, it's again, like a lot of
yeah.
these girls were like swimming with sharks, you know.
I was really happy to see Brian stand up for her
That
when they were
was
doing the stuff.
that was truly, honestly, the most like the most sweetest, most like iconic Love Island moments on the planet. Like it was like ah, like literally like when he said it was like Brian, like all of America, all of the women were like, yes, Brian, yes. And like Amaya also says it like on Call Her Daddy that she was like, that's when she like looked up and she was like, hey, how are you?
That's true. That's true. No, I agree. That was definitely one of my favorite moments, and I was glad they got to build on that. And then when they started actually seeing each other and dating, I was like, "This is it. This is
Yeah.
it. Let's lock it in."
I know,
I
and
was
people
very
were
happy
like,
for
"This
him.
was the easiest money that Brian." But I feel like they're gonna get married this weekend and have 2 babies before the end of the year.
That's true. That's true. I would be so happy. I
Yeah.
really do like that. I think America chose the right person
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
Regardless of who made it to the final four or whatever, at least they got the final person right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. All right. And then what are your thoughts about Clark and Taylor?
Clark and Taylor, to be honest with you, I was really sad to see them
Mm,
go. I think that it should have been Iris and Pepe. For
yeah.
me, if I could do it again, hindsight 2020, the winners, and again, this is my opinion, the winners would have been Nicolandria, Amaya, Shelly and Ace, Taylor and Clark, Chris and Huda, and then Iris and Pepe. That's the order I would have put them in.
I honestly have nobody other than Amaya and Brian. Like I didn't think anyone else was
I
legit.
mean, I'm rooting.
Iris and Pepe, maybe they're like NPCs to me. Like they didn't matter. Like they were just there.
No, but here's the thing. Like I thought they were also like a cute couple together too. Like they almost felt like, honestly, they felt like a widow and widower fighting each other.
They did. That's so accurate.
Like they're like, I lost my husband, I lost my wife. Let me tell you about them and let's grieve together.
That's exactly what it was. Despite what happened with Taylor, and Taylor having when they're reading the card, he would like make a decision. He's like, "All right, I pick Clark."
That hurts
I thought
so
that
bad.
was
Yeah.
that was rough. That was rough. But like Clark, if you really think about it, really didn't do anything wrong from like the
No,
perspective that
no,
I see.
I
Like she
think,
was so chill.
and she was really sweet. She was very respectful. Like of course, like I didn't like her in the beginning because like she's a newcomer, right? And you want to stick with your
Right.
OGs. But even like the way her and like because I know like they were trying not to interact with each other, but when they eventually
Yeah.
did, like they were very nice and very cordial with each other. And I just feel bad because like Clark got lumped into, again, this is like Shelly, like because of Taylor's sins,
Yeah.
Clark had to pay for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. The other thing, speaking of citizens, one of the things that I thought was interesting, um, the way Huda and Chris reacted with each other. Like I sometimes they like try to play with each other, and sometimes like it's okay, and sometimes it's not. Like I remember when they were doing the baby challenge, he's scrambling, and she's just like randomly like, "I don't like that shirt," and it's like, "Yeah, it's a competition. Like who cares what color shirt?" And then he goes, "Shut up," and then like she was like really pissed about that,
Yeah.
and then they had the conversation about like, oh, he tried to kiss her, and she was like looking around, making sure no one else was there, and then being okay with it, and then he's like, well, also we're in bed and you're trying to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people online where like Huda uses like her sexuality to kind of control people a little bit, and there I do kind of feel like there's signs of that.
I mean, okay, again, full disclosure, now knowing what I know about her upbringing, hold on.
Yeah, I haven't seen this podcast you're talking about, so I have no idea about her upbringing. I'm just basing it off what I've seen on the show.
Well, now I know that these were triggers for her.
Mm.
And so I will commend her because she didn't go crazy, but
Yeah.
the way she was talking, like I feel like it was like her almost trying to find control in the chaos. And
Yeah.
and I do want to say, like, I'm not defending Huda on this, but like I feel like she was so traumatized by her relationship with Jeremiah, how the villa viewed it and what they said about it to her and about her, and then in turn also like America voting to rip them apart and stuff just to see her crash out. Like she obviously doesn't know that part, but
Yeah.
I say that to say I can understand why she didn't want to kiss him in front of everyone, but then she's okay. Like I understand where she's saying it. Here's my thing, and I didn't find this out till afterwards. Normally, every other season, every other country before, when you were
Mhm.
a bombshell and when you're a Casa Amor person,
Yeah.
before you used to get to watch every single episode until the minute you walk into the villa. So,
Oh, okay.
but which is also again why Huda freaked out on Amaya when Amaya first turned up, because she was like, because what we later found out from Chris and from Amaya is that they only got to see clips and stuff. So they didn't even
Okay.
get to see the whole thing. But if you know that as an Islander, if you think you know that as an Islander, like, oh, whoever comes in, they've already seen everything that we've gone through. So that's
Mm.
why Amaya like was calling I'm sorry, Huda was calling Amaya a bitch and all these names, because she thought she had watched every single episode and had seen what a solid relationship her and Jeremiah had. When Amaya said it, she's like, I came in and I thought Jeremiah was the cutest. That's her job. She's gonna go for the cutest person. So like it's
Right.
almost like again the producers kind of like set the Islanders up in that. And that's the same thing with Chris, because I wanted to be like, Chris, what's wrong with you? You've seen it. You saw all the episodes where how she was with Jeremiah. Why aren't you getting that she doesn't want to do it in public? But he never saw the full thing. So
Mhm.
I can see how he's like, I don't get it. You're willing to get intimate with me, but you're not
Yeah.
willing to kiss me in front of everyone outside of a challenge. Like, so now I
Yeah.
get it. And that's the thing, is like, I feel like as I'm saying this, it's like the producers really, this is like what it's like with
Yeah.
miscommunication and misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing was more so about her in bed and saying, "Hey, if you don't cuddle, I'm gonna be pissed off
Oh,
tomorrow."
okay. I can't even defend that. I like that part. I like have to black out of my brain. It's like, girl, what is happening? What is happening? What are you doing? You also know you have days away. Like tomorrow morning, it could be it. You know, either it's a big date or
Yeah.
it's the who's a winner. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't like. This is a part where like I'm just like where I want to get religious and be like, this is what happens when you don't pray, when you don't ask for
Okay.
guidance.
Speaking of that, since you brought that up, there is some discourse online about Buddhist religion and her rocking an Allah necklace in a bikini and twerking and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of other podcasts probably can't talk about that because they probably aren't Muslim.
Yeah.
We happen to be. How do you feel about that?
To be honest with you, obviously it's not something that I agree with, but at the end of the day, that is again between her and Allah. And I also do know that I watched a live that Amaya had yesterday,
Hmm?
and they asked Huda, "Are you Muslim?" And she said, she's not fully Muslim and she's not fully Christian, but
Mm.
that she likes things from, there's things that she agrees from Islam and there's things that she agrees about with Christianity and there's things that she disagrees with both of them. So she's like in between, and I feel maybe it's because her daughter's father is Christian, and so she has to like, she has like a blended view of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But she also talks about how like when she did get pregnant, she was really scared to tell her mom about it.
Right,
She was like, because my mom's really religious, my mom's Muslim. And so
right.
when she finally told her mom, she was like, Mom, I have to tell you something. I did something really bad. And her mom
Yeah.
was like, Did you hurt someone? She's like, No. Did you steal something? She's like, No. Did you take money? She's like, No. And then finally her mom was like, Are you pregnant? And she started crying and she was like, Yes, I am. And her mom said, Don't sin twice, meaning don't get an abortion, keep the baby, because she was still thinking about getting an abortion. And so I feel like, like everyone can be like, oh my God, she's a Muslim and she's wearing the Allah necklace. But you know what? For me, as a Muslim, it's like, okay, she has Allah's necklace. Like, even when she's twerking, she's thinking of Allah. Who am I to judge that? No, but like that's the truth. Who am I to judge that? That's not my job. But like to be honest, like God does not give a fuck about my opinion.
Fair. Your opinions are your opinions. Yeah.
Like that's the truth. Like Allah's not gonna ask anyone for like, hey, Salma, do you think Nabe should go to heaven or hell? He's not gonna ask
Yeah.
me.
He's not gonna gauge the room.
Yeah,
Fair
exactly.
enough.
And like, do I think it's right? Absolutely No, but like you know what? To find that, to be like, you know what? Alhamdulillah, she's thinking of Allah. Okay, you know what? She's using the body that Allah gave her, and that's
But
between
is
her
she
and
though?
Allah.
Is she though? I
And
don't
I'm
know if
not
all
gonna
of it
judge.
what
I'm
Allah
not
gave
gonna
her.
judge. To be quite honest with you, I was mesmerized, and I said Subhanallah. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll throw in some astaghfirullahs in there too, and some inshallahs, and we'll call it a day.
But I mean, if anything, like, I mean, I was kind of nervous because like she was having her crash outs, and everyone knows she's Muslim and that she's Palestinian.
Yeah,
But you
that's what
know,
I was afraid of too. I was like, they're making the one person like, because we don't have a lot of representation.
we don't
in
have a
reality
lot,
TV,
and then
right?
also the way that
Eh,
they would describe her, that she was terrorizing the villa, it was just
Yeah,
like a lot of it was like, well, like I personally wouldn't have another way to describe what she's doing in the villa when she was having her crash outs, you know? But at the
yeah,
same
yeah,
time, it's like, no, you think about like this is how, you know, colonization works and how like propaganda works. You know, you use it on people, you dehumanize them by calling her a terrorist or saying that she's terrorizing when we know that she's Muslim and Arab. Um,
yeah.
I mean, do I think it's like amazing representation? I think we need to, no, but I think it's really important. I'm glad that we have her, and you know, like it's good to have someone who's not like a cookie cutter version, you know.
Yeah, listen. We had a very wholesome show about Muslims on reality TV, and it didn't do as well as this does. So what does that tell you?
Well, now
And I would know.
listen, there's just one person, okay? And but that's the thing, is like there's a juxtaposition. Like you have Muslim Matchmaker, which has these wholesome Muslims who are wholeheartedly, it is like their own Love Island, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
what do you
more
call it?
like
You have
Love
Love
Peninsula.
Island, and this is just like, I mean, I think it's important. I think that she doesn't understand, and we don't understand the magnitude of her being there and being representation. Do I think
Yeah,
that it's positive, or that it's something good? Not necessarily, but it's interesting to see people defend her. It's interesting
yeah.
to hear people who are actually, you know, not for nothing, they are talking about her. They're not talking
I
about her
mean, yeah,
religion.
not for nothing, but they did vote for her to. They did vote for her to get to the very end. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And also it's like they're talking about her, you know what I mean,
Right.
like her specifically. And that's where I think like this is the representation, like she's representing herself. Like there are people who are pro-Palestinian that hate her, you
Right.
know, and there are people who are pro-Palestinian, or what's the opposite of that? Yeah, like who are pro-Palestinian that hate her, but and then there's people who don't care for Palestine that love her. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm saying this to say it's like nice to see a girl like that not have to represent all of us. Like
Yeah.
finally, like she's being judged for who she is, just on who she is. And that's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate, because I've always felt that like wherever we are, whatever kind of representation, is like, oh, but think of everybody else, you know?
I think that's a really good point that you made, because like all of her crash outs, all of her decisions, no one has ever come out and says she's doing these or making these decisions because she's Muslim. They're just like, no, she's doing it because she's just Huda.
Yeah, like she's
Which I
young,
think is
she's
growth
crazy.
as a society. That is growth.
Yeah, and like, and you know, and it's also like I'm sorry, like everybody came to the show because they're like, who's this Huda? Who's this Huda girl? Who's this Huda girl?
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
everyone talking about Huda? You know, and and so like that's, I just don't understand why all these like muftis are getting mad and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're watching Love Island for Islamic
No,
guidance,
you've lost the plot
yeah,
if that's what you're doing.
yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like I
No.
wanted to watch a summertime show, and that's the thing, is like going back to it, like I loved it in the sense of how popular it was and how every night it was like nice to see America come together. It's just
Yeah.
the first time viewers and how toxic and the vitriol. Like, I'm sorry, the meme of Alandria and Huda with the George Floyd uh
I
thing
didn't see this.
is it's disgusting. It's abhorrent. The way that Shelley and Olandria have been receiving like really racist anti-black rhetoric, and just also like how they're trying to pin them as angry black women. It's
Yeah.
disgusting and it's not right. And then
And the thing is, like,
but in terms of people defending them, they're now being racist towards Palestinians and Muslims, you know? And it's like, what's happening with the fans? Like, how has
that's
it
the
become this
thing.
toxic?
That's the thing about this show, right? Like, I get like, oh yeah, this isn't a show you should be watching if you're trying to be halal and stuff like that, right? But it is a big part of American culture, and if there isn't people like us to give our opinions about these things, then no one's voices will be heard, right? Like, someone needs to call out the anti-Arab, anti-Islamic hate that she's getting that isn't valid, right?
But
So
also, like, we also have to address the anti-black, the
exactly,
anti-Asian, the racism, because it's like, it's really disgusting how it's like how everyone's like infighting with each other. Like, I've never seen a divide like this ever.
yeah, it's
Like, I've
really,
never
yeah, it's
seen
really
such
weird.
a toxic, where within the show, like, it's almost like they've become like their own armies, you know, and they're having such vitriol like against each other, and it's like, it's really gross. I've actually like I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched the finale of Love Island. I've seen
Oh, you
clips
haven't
of
seen the
it.
finale?
No, I've seen clips of it. It's just like, that's how sick I became, like reading the comments and stuff. That I
Uh,
was just like, I almost was like so turned off by it, you know?
I was so behind that I stayed away from the memes and the stuff like that because I was never watching it live. I was always
Okay,
watching it
that's
like
the
3
point of
days
it. You're
behind.
supposed to watch it live so you're online at the same
I
time.
know. I just couldn't. I was
Because
trying
here's
to
the
have a
thing.
life.
I
It
mean,
was very difficult.
I'm prepping you for season 8. Is like, you're supposed to watch it live. Like,
I,
that is the
I didn't know it was live until halfway through the season. I was like, America's voting? What does that mean? How are they voting?
you're like, yeah.
It's so clueless.
And that's the thing, is like, I always joke, like, you know, it's summertime when I have to download the Love Island app.
Yeah, that's so funny. I didn't even know they had an app. I was just like, well, what is this?
But that's the thing, is like, it's supposed to be like this fun summertime show, lighthearted, kitschy, dramatic, in terms of like, I can't believe you did that, how dare you, like that and that.
Yeah.
And like, also, like, I know, like you said, it's your first time, but it is completely normal to talk to somebody's man while you're best friends with his girl, you
Yeah,
know?
I guessed on that show. In real life, maybe not so much, but yeah,
Yeah.
fair
Oh
enough.
no, obviously everyone else says like, on the island, you know?
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Um, all right. Well, one thing I know for sure, I'm also maybe a little bit of a sensitive gangster. Is what I take away from this
That, yeah.
season. What is your biggest takeaway from this season?
My biggest takeaway is trying to be like Amaya and remembering like to shine bright, you know, because that girl is, I'm so excited to see where this takes her. I'm so happy she won because I voted for her, and this was
Yeah.
like, this was America, you know? And
I
you
am
know,
so happy about her. And the thing is, like, one of the things that I really like about her, like, yeah, I made fun of the way she talks because I think it's very cute and
of
endearing.
course, yeah.
But but also English is a second language to some people. All right, so like,
Yeah.
cut them a break. And also, she's very smart with her puns. Where she's like, if I'm not your cup of tea, don't drink it. If I'm not your book, don't read it. Like, she has so many of those.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
No, but
she's just kidding.
even when she's quick too, when she was getting mad at Austin, she's like reacting like, how you're the one out here with their vein popping out your neck, and I was like, you activated the Bronx. Like, what were you thinking, you know? And that's the thing,
Yeah.
is like, but like, again, like, for the girls, for the girls and the gays that loved Amaya, like, that's what she represented. Like, it was like, oh, that was a girl I used to be before I dim my light. And it's like to see her to know that she knows now that we celebrate her, because like I was like I never cry during Love Island. I've never cried. It was always funny to see them cry when they have to dump somebody from the island. But when she was like in Casa Amor and being like, I don't know what's wrong with me, like what is it? It's like I was crying because it's like you have no idea how much you are loved. You're not the weird one. They are. Like all the boys here are the weird ones. It's not you.
Yeah.
Like any of us would die to have our brothers, our ex-boyfriends go out with you, you know? I would be so happy if any of my ex-boyfriends went out with Amaya. I'd be like, wow, you actually don't deserve her, you know? And that's the thing is like Amaya's like, to me, like I just like what I took away from Love Island is like to be more like Amaya. You know, to be more like Amaya Papaya, to be true to yourself, to not dim your light, and to shine. And then the rest of it is just like, you know, really learning like how not to react.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for taking the opportunity to come on the show, and we would love to have you back for the next one.
I'm so full of gratuity or gratitude.
Oh man, I just wish they should come up with a book with just glossary of like Amaya sayings.
Yeah, like a book. Like I honestly, I hope she comes out with like a new, I will buy that book for her, a new like Amaya-isms, you know.
Yeah.
But like she's yeah, we got the right winners. Like if anything, as much of a, I don't even want to call it a shit show of a season. It truly was. It was apocalyptic, like apocalyptic, like the way everything was. Like the Islanders, the producers, and especially the viewers. Like I'm very curious to know how we will recover from this and how season 8 will be.
Yeah. We'll have to figure out a way to recover from this. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Before you go, let people know where they can find you, where they can support you and stuff.
You can find me on Instagram at Salma Khan and on TikTok and Twitter X at the Salma Khan.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will be doing Love Island now. It's part of our repertoire now. We're going to be doing this every year. It come out every year or twice a year? How often does it come out?
It comes out every summer, so I don't mind being, you know.
All right, every summer. That's it. We're Love Island. We may be getting rid of The Bachelor and doing Love Island. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But I found this so much more entertaining, so I'm really, really happy about it. Selma, thank you so much for coming to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys. Salaam, nerds.